Live from Shirley Povich Field as your Senators try to force a winner-take-all Game 3. Meanwhile, the Big Train look to make it their 11th league championship. Bethesda trying to claim the league title in back-to-back seasons and would do so with a victory tonight. So glad you can join us, Cody Wagner from Bethesda. And boy, is this an exciting one. Senators have gotten hot as of late, won 3 straight in the postseason to send themselves to the championship series. Last night looked good early, led it 2-0, headed into the 6th inning. Big Train able to put one up on the board in the bottom half, and then ultimately blew things open in the 7th with 5 runs, provided 3 of insurance in the 8th, and went on to claim victory 9-2 last night. Senators looking for some revenge this evening, and we are ready to get underway from Shirley Povich. Jacob Whiteman, the man on the mound for your Senators tonight, and to lead it off for the Big Train is Justin Nadeau. A first offering, a fastball just outside. Important to note that we are at the Bethesda home stadium, but it is in fact being played as a Senators home game. The 1-0 is lined into the right center field gap. That's going to get down. Tribble giving chase. Nadeau rounds first and head towards second. Queen cuts it off. Diving in head first and safely is Justin Nadeau with a leadoff 2-bagger. Big Train get things going early. And with it being technically an away game for the Big Train, they get to hit first. And this is a dangerous man to be up with a runner in scoring position. Andrew Williamson, 10 homers on the year. The first pitch, he squares to bunt, lines it back to the screen. There was some rain in the area earlier today. They had the field covered. Allows us to play this one tonight. Whiteman, a look back at second, kicks and fires. Up and away, easy take from Williamson. Count even, a ball and a strike. The center fielder was an astounding 4 of 5 at the plate yesterday. Whiteman releases. A big cut and a miss from number 29. And not just a pure power hitter either. 457 batting average, which leads the entire Cal Ripken League. This is a kid with a very bright future in front of him. The 1-2. Punch the opposite way, foul. Williamson readjusts the white batting gloves. Takes a long look out at Whiteman, who toes the rubber along the first base side. Gets the sign from Purser-Eber, nods in approval, and offers. Williamson lines it back to the screen, staying alive. There were a couple at-bats last night where he was a hard out and eventually would reach with a base hit. Sets and releases. A curveball that won't quite come back over the plate from Whiteman. 2-2. Williamson does his signature of tapping the plate 4 times. Will point the bat out towards center. 4. The 2-2. Lines it back once again. Seeing a lot of pitches off of Whiteman early. But even when he does allow base hits, is still able to be effective. Stranded 8 runners in his last starts throwing 5 scoreless against Alexandria. The 2-2 is punched right back up the middle. Queen goes diving after it. They send Nato home, and he's going to score. An RBI single for Andrew Williamson plates one in the first. Big Train the first to strike from Shirley Povich. Luke Vaughn trying to stay hot for the Big Train. Has hit .500 in the postseason. First offering, in for a strike. Runner going, throw to second is in time, but Queen can't quite handle the throw. Williamson in safely. Whiteman leaves the right arm behind his back and curls the glove into his left armpit. Now from the belt. A curveball that twists just a little out. A ball and a strike. Luke Vaughn with a man in scoring position. 1-0 Big Train in the top of the first inning. He lets it fly. A fastball that dots the top half of the zone. After the early run from the Big Train, you got to try and get back on track here. Comes set and the pitch. Just a tad in. Whiteman, a 3-1 record on the year. A look back at second before he delivers. A curveball that will run in and hit Vaughn. His third hit by pitch in 2 nights. And Braden Purser-Eber, the catcher, will come have a chat with Jacob Whiteman, who is still yet to record an out in the first. Senators, a team that was so hot coming into yesterday's ball game. It's so hard to try and reset after that loss last night. A game that looked like could have gone Southern Maryland's way, but the Big Train just came storming back and were able to be victors in dominant fashion. Just a tough mental battle to come back from that. The first offering to Gonzalez is skied left side. Brewer coming on, lifts up the glove, makes the grab, 1 away. A big out number 1 for Jacob Whiteman sends Emilio Gonzalez packing. And the big thing for Whiteman, you just want to hold this lead where it is for the Big Train. You can't let them get going too early, especially Bethesda, a team that can put runs up in a hurry and do so often late in games throughout the year. A check on Williamson at second. Slides in safely. Rare that the Big Train are the first to strike, but they do so this evening, and that perhaps going to be dangerous for the Senators with a Bethesda lineup who's looking good early. Whiteman deals a fastball at the knees. Strike 1. Davin Whitaker has been the epitome of consistency for manager Sal Colangelo. Whiteman offers. Ripped into right center. Groen giving chase, and that's going to get over his head. Whitaker was holding at second. They're going to send him home. Rounding third and scoring as well as Vaughn as Whitaker pulls into third safely. A pair of RBIs on a Whitaker triple The Big Train controlling things early in Bethesda. And this crowd getting behind them. Scott Middleton out of the dugout to have a chat with Jacob Whiteman. 3-0 Big Train. Back in a moment. You're listening to Senators Baseball. Keep it here. Welcome back to Shirley Povich Field, where the Big Train have got going early. They lead it 3-0 in the away half of one. First pitch to Wesley is eye level. Easy take for the man that was 3 of 5 yesterday. Knocked home 2 runs as well. Infield in for the Senators. The 1-0 is a jam shot fouled straight back. Whitaker stands just 90 feet away. Bethesda seeing Whiteman well early. He lets it fly. A curve that dips out of the zone. 2 balls and a strike. The Big Train lineup not biting early on the off-speed stuff. The 2-1. Downstairs. Hitter-friendly count for Wesley. Batting .417 with 5 runs knocked home in the postseason. Whiteman deals. Foul tipped into the catcher's glove. Full count. Not an ideal start tonight for your Senators. Whiteman kicks and fires. A breaking pitch that's a little low. Wesley able to work a walk. Just 1 out in the first inning. Runners at the corners for Keenan Bowman. First and third in for Southern Maryland. Middle of the infield looking for a double play ball. Whiteman sets and delivers. Lifted deep to center field. Going back is Tribble at the track, at the wall. That'll get over his glove and bang off the wall. 2 runs are going to come home to score. Bowman pulling into third, and he slides in feet first safely. Another 2 runs for the Big Train, and they're blowing it open early. 5-0 Bethesda, and Scott Middleton's going to go get his guy. Whiteman able to record just 1 out. Big Train with a pair of triples. They lead it 5-0. Back in a moment from Shirley Povich Field. New pitcher into the ballgame is Griffin Siebel in the away half of the first after Jacob Whiteman was able to record just one out. 5 runs have come across to score for the Big Train. And just somewhat disappointing to see from a guy in Whiteman who has been great all year for your Senators. Despite the performance tonight, deserves some real props for his performance throughout the year. And Josh Skoronsky trying to keep things rolling for the Trains. 5-0 Bethesda. Off a third is Bowman. First offering is a little high. Last time Siebel pitched was back on Sunday against Alexandria, the 1-0 deal. Punched down the left field line, well foul. Siebel threw 3 innings, gave up just 1 run in that outing. Was really magnificent out of the bullpen. Sets and fires. A heater that brushes Skoronsky off the dish. The left fielder readjusts the helmet on his head. The 2-1 offering. Misses in the other batter's box for ball 3. Just so tough to try and mount any sort of momentum at this juncture. Southern Maryland trailing by 5 in the first inning. Keenan Bowman at third, infield in. He releases way outside. Skoronsky with a 5-pitch walk hands it off to the 9-hole hitter and Cole Constable. Bethesda trying to bat around in the first. They got the opportunity to hit first this evening, making the most of it. Siebel offers a fastball just away. Running on the pitch is Skoronsky. Purser unable to handle it cleanly on the transfer. Second and third as the infield creeps up to the edge of the grass. Kicks and lets it fly. Foul back. Constable was an all-star this year for the Big Train. Coming on strong later in the year was their other man behind the plate, Luke Vaughn. This is actually the first playoff start for Constable this evening. The 1-1 will run in and hit him. Just has not been the night for Senators pitching. 5-0 Big Train. Just 1 out and bases loaded for Justin Nadeau, the ever-dangerous bat. Plays college ball for Florida. And he doubled to begin the inning. Middle of the infield looking for a double play ball. Corners in. First offering, a slap straight back. Sun behind a lot of cloud cover in Bethesda. Just some orange peeking out in the beautiful setting sky. The 0-1 is a little up. Count even to the leadoff hitter. Has hit .341 on the year. 9 RBIs across just 7 games played. A 1-1 deal. Hard hit on the ground to first. Kennedy steps on the bag. Scoring from third will be Bowman. No throw from Kennedy. Well, 2 away in the inning, but a run will score for the Big Train. 6-0 Bethesda. And the second out of the inning, a productive one at that from Justin Nato. Andrew Williamson trying to add on to what's been an already dominant inning for the Big Train. Siebel sets and deals. Fastball that crosses at the knees. Strike 1. Big if you can try and get ahead of Williamson, who has been so locked in the playoffs, especially this series. The 0-1, a big hack and a miss. 4 for 5 yesterday. Singled and drove home Nato from second to start the inning. No balls, 2 strikes. Away half of 1. Bethesda leads it by 6. He delivers. Line drive back up the middle. Boris plays it off a 1 hop. Throw across his body in time to retire the side. Senators ultimately able to leave 2 stranded, but not before the Big Train put up 6 in the first. An already lopsided lead for them gives way to the Senators' bats for the first time tonight. Back in a moment from Shirley Povich. Back from Shirley Povich, Senators trail by 6 going into the bottom of the first inning. Roles flipped this evening for the teams. Senators considered the home ball club, despite it being played at the Bethesda home stadium. Joey Wimpelberg making the start this evening for the Big Train. First offering will brush Tribble back. Last time Wimpelberg pitched was in the wild card game where he gave up just 1 run across 6 innings. He winds and fires. Fouled off into the chest protector of the catcher Constable. Wimpelberg stands 6'1", 190. Plays college ball for UCF. Tribble adjusts in his batting stance. Kicks and offers. A beautiful off-speed pitch that dips down into the zone. Wimpelberg trying to ride the momentum his offense provided him and turn it right back over to the bats. He deals a beautiful curveball that twists in for strike number 3. Sets Tribble down looking to begin the Southern Maryland at-bats tonight. Nathan Brewer in the 2-hole tonight for your Senators. Was a rare 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts last night. First pitch he sees is in the other batter's box. Fastball from Wimpelberg. Brewer with 27 RBIs on the year, 9 of those coming in the postseason. He releases. Once again, the breaking pitch. Dots the outer half. Count even. Boy, is Wimpelberg looking good early. He deals popped foul down the left field line. A lot of fans in attendance tonight, hoping that they can witness their big train come away with their 11th league championship. This is a team that has really run the Cal Ripken League, for lack of a better term, over the last 2 decades, ever since it was formed way back in 2005. He delivers. That won't come back over the plate. Brewer spits on a curve. The 2-2 deal. Fastball up and out. Brewer readjusts the batting gloves before stepping back into the box. Lights already on at Shirley Povich. And the payoff pitch. Punch down the left field line. Foul from Brewer. Staying alive in the count. Senators trail by 6 in the home half of the first. Here's in at Constable. Now comes home. A pitch that won't quite come back into the zone. Brewer able to work a 7-pitch walk. Trying to get something going offensively for Southern Maryland. And that hands it off to Carter Groen. He's hitting .336 thus far. Tied with Andrew Williamson for the lead league in home runs with 10. Wimpelberg releases. Hammer down the right field line, but just foul. Groen really got a hold of that one. No balls and a strike from Wimpelberg. We'll peer over at Brewer, who leads off of first base. Comes set. A check on number 7, who's standing back safely. Still a lot of ball game left to play. Senators trail by 6 early. The 0-1. A fastball that Groen checks his swing on. They'll say he held up. That heater down in the dirt. Carter Groen, ever dangerous. And this is the guy that can change the momentum with just one swing of the bat. Wimpelberg deals. Lifted the opposite way and foul. The right-handed hitting Groen trying to put the Senators up on the board. With a runner on first, Brewer with some wheels leads the team with 14 stolen bases. Would wonder if he might be going on this 1-2. He lets it fly. Brewer goes. Foul back into the parking lot that's out behind the field. Trees line the outfield. Just beautiful scenes from Shirley Povich Field in Bethesda, Maryland. So glad you can join us for this championship series game 2. If the Big Train win tonight, they are league champions. Senators just trying to make a game 3 out of it. The 1-2 is popped into the stands. An encouraging sign to see Groen battling the way he is. The Big Train have really caught heat late in the year, riding that into tonight. Another check on Brewer, who's back. Bethesda had to get past the Giants to even make it into the series against the Senators. Swept them. First game was 11-2. The second one, 10-3. A 1-2 will push Groen off of home plate. A little inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brewer at first base. Wimpelberg toes the rubber along that side. He sets up at the letters across his chest before coming home. Hit into the hole on the third base side. That'll get through for a base hit from Carter Groen. First and second for your Senators. Trying to mount something offensively after a big first inning from the Big Train. And as Bethesda, you really can't afford to let off the gas. Of course, you lead by 6 runs, but Senators can put runs up in a hurry, as was seen in that 9-0 victory over the Aces back on Monday. Kicks and deals. High chopper just right of the first base bag. Constable retrieves a new ball from the home plate umpire and tosses it out to the starter, Wimpelberg. Set down Tribble on strikes. Since then, yet to record an out. 1 away, home half of the first inning. Big Train lead it by 6. 2 guys on for Ian Kennedy. The 0-1 checks his swing. They'll say he went around on a fastball that's a little inside. The first baseman for your Senators hitting an astounding 400 in the playoffs. Blasted a homer back in the wild card game against the Crop Dusters. Wimpelberg with a peek at second. He releases. Flared out to the shortstop, Bowman, who drops the ball. Tosses on to second. Umpire clarifying, calling an infield fly rule. Clear that Bowman was trying to get the Senators caught sleeping. Even if not called before the play, if made intentional, the umpires will say, hey, you intentionally dropped the ball to get the double play. And so 2 away in the inning, 2 guys on for the Senators, 6-0 Big Train. One of those rare instances where it'll go down as a line out to short on the Kennedy record, but technically did not make the catch. First pitch, broken bat off the handle from McHugh. Charging it is Nato, who makes the toss on to first in time to retire the side. Well, the train is rolling in Bethesda. They lead it 6-0 after 1. Back in a moment, you're listening to Senators Baseball. Luke Vaughn, the next man up for the Big Train, was hit by a pitch last inning where Bethesda put 6 up on the board. Griffin Siebel, already the second pitcher of the ballgame for your Senators. First offering, dips into the zone. Breaking ball starts off the at-bat to Vaughn. He's been absolutely electric in the postseason, batting .500. The 0-1 is a heater just a little outside. Siebel fires. Grounder to Queen at second. He handles it, flip on to Kennedy at first. In time, 1 away. Siebel allowed just 1 run to score last inning after coming in for Jacob Whiteman. That ultimately went down on the starter's record. Gave up 6 earned in just a third of an inning. Siebel deals. A pitch that will catch the outer edge to begin the at-bat to Emilio Gonzalez. Was one of the 3 outs in the first. He releases up and away. Winds and the 1-1 offering. A tad high. The first baseman readjusts the helmet on his head before wiggling the bat up above his left shoulder. The 2-1 is in the dirt. Siebel picks up the rosin bag before dropping it back down to the dirt. From the windup, he lets it fly. Downstairs, a fastball and a 4-pitch walk to Emilio Gonzalez. Game 2 of the league championship series between the Big Train and Senators. A win for Bethesda this evening will make them league champions. They seem well on their way to that result. Up 6-0 in the away half of 2. First pitch to Whitaker is fouled back to the screen. Had a big 2 RBI triple in the first. The right-hander from the stretch. The pitch. That'll dot the inner half of the zone. No balls, 2 strikes. A couple changes defensively tonight for Scott Middleton. Kai Queen playing second base, and Braden Purser-Eber behind the dish for Nate McHugh, who remains in the lineup at DH. The 0-2. Misses well in the dirt. Whitaker has batted .313 in the postseason. Siebel with a long look at Emilio Gonzalez. He fires. A wave and a miss. It's strike number 3. A changeup that falls off the table from Griffin. Siebel sets Whitaker down on strikes. Matthew Wesley in his second trip to the plate. Was an astounding 3 for 5 in last night's ball game. Siebel lets it fly, a heater low. Sun peeking out over the trees in right. An ideal night from Shirley Povich. The 1-0 is slammed the opposite way, down in front of Groen and Wright, who misplays it. Backing him up is Tribble. Rounding third and heading home is Gonzalez. He's going to score. Relay throw to third is in time to set down Wesley. Gonzalez able to cross home in time, so the run will score, but that'll end the inning. Senators trail 7-0 as we head to the home half of 2. You're listening to Southern Maryland Baseball. Keep it here. Mikey Guy up to lead off the home half of second. Things already looking somewhat bleak early in this ballgame for the Senators, who trail 7-0. After just an inning and a half of play, first pitch will come in and hit Guy on the right shoulder. turns his back as he'll head down to first. How about some appreciation for Silas Boris, who has really come on offensively late in the year? Has hit .375 in the playoffs. At one point was hitting below 200, 235 on the campaign. Wimpelberg offers in the other batter's box for ball one. Southern Maryland is going to have to get some offense mounted quickly if they have any hopes of forcing a Game 3 in this league championship series. The 1-0 deal. Hit on the ground to short. Bowman will throw to first. Not in time. Silas Boris able to beat it out. Was a slow roller to the shortstop. Decided against trying to go for two. Not even able to get one. Infield single for the shortstop Boris. Two guys on for your Senators. Braden Purser-Eber trying to stay hot for Southern Maryland. Had a double and an RBI single in the win on Monday over the Aces. That was the game that ultimately propelled the Senators into this series. He deals foul back to the screen. The catcher trying to continue some of his postseason magic. No balls and a strike. First and second, no outs. Bottom of two. The 0-1 is in the dirt. He checks his swing. Does so successfully. Bethesda feeling good early on. Senators looking to provide at least some resistance. Wimpelberg sets at the numbers and deals. A fastball crossing just below the belt of Purser-Eber. Joey Wimpelberg left two stranded last inning. Trying to do so again in the second. He lets it fly. A curve that dips a little low. Purser-Eber able to spit on it. 3 RBIs on the year for the catcher for Southern Maryland. Wimpelberg steps off the mound, a throw back to second. Guy easily back safely. Both Nato and Bowman given the look of holding Guy at second. Bowman now retreating to his more normal position. Nato remains close to the bag. The 2-2, caught on a miss. He struck him out. A big punch out from Joey Wimpelberg. Sets down the second strikeout victim of the night for Southern Maryland. And in the 9-hole is Kai Queen. Has played in just one game in the playoffs. Was 0 for 3 with an RBI. Queen with two guys on, one away, home half of 2. First offering is bounced to the umpire for strike 1. Thankfully didn't have too much speed on it. Able to shake it off quickly. Wimpelberg curls the glove in his left armpit. Sets at the numbers. And deals. Fastball up. A ball and a strike. Sun has set down below the trees in right field. Still continues to light up the sky, a beautiful orange. What a night at Shirley Povich Field. Couldn't ask for anything better after it had rained some during the day. A similar story the last 2 days. He offers slow roller to Gonzalez at first, takes a close look at second, ultimately decides to flip on to Wimpelberg at first. 2 down. Logan Tribble with his second try as the lineup card flips over for Scott Middleton and his guys. Went down looking on strikes his first time up. 2 away in the bottom of second. A pair of guys on for the leadoff hitter. First pitch brushes him off the plate. Ball 1. Wimpelberg, sporting a 2.54 ERA on the year, has been wonderful for this Big Train club. He lets it fly. High chopper, left side. The third baseman, Wesley, hops up and gets it. Throw across the diamond in time to end the inning. How about Matthew Wesley with an athletic play? That'll keep the Senators scoreless as they leave 2 on in the second. Big Train lead by 7 at Shirley Povich Field. Away half of the third, and in steps Keenan Bowman, who led off things in last night's ball game. Was 1 for 3 in that spot, hitting .286 during the playoffs. First pitch, squaring to bunt, pulls it back, will hit the helmet of Bowman. Thankfully, he's okay. Immediately shakes it off. Umpire will talk with him for a moment before Sal Colangelo will come out and monitor how his guy's doing. Immediately, it seemed like he was okay. Siebel apologizing, but now getting some attendance from the trainer. Good to see after such a scary moment that Bowman is at least walking around. And he's going to be good to head on down to first base. Just a pat on the back from Dr. Brandon Allen, who quickly clears him to stay in the ball game. A leadoff base runner for the Big Train in the third. And in steps Josh Goransky. 1 for 1 so far in the postseason. A big cut and a miss at strike number 1. This is the first playoff start for the left fielder. The 0-1 deal. Some late tail breaks the pitch a little outside. Count even 1-1. Siebel sets to the belt and delivers. Popped the opposite way. Guy into foul territory. Drifts back over into fair ground and makes the grab, 1 away. Cole Constable trying to get something going in the third after the Big Train have scored both times they've been up to the plate thus far tonight. Readjusts the helmet on his head. Rests the bat along the right shoulder. The first deal, a changeup. The Constable takes a big hack at, unable to come up with it. A pitch that simply drops off the table from Griffin Siebel. Came into the ballgame way back in the first. Lets it fly a tad off the plate. 1-1. Whiteman was ultimately able to get just 1 out, surrendering 6 earned. The 1-1 deal crushed deep to right center field. Back at the track is Groen. He lifts up the glove and makes the grab. Tagging from first is Bowman. Throw there is not quite in time. The shortstop ruled safe. Boris thought they had him. A great throw from Groen. Can't quite nab him. Lineup card flips over for Sal Colangelo. And boy, have they done a great job early tonight. Nato with an RBI as well as a double in the first. Had the sacrifice ground out to Kennedy. He deals fastball a little low. This Bethesda team, led by manager Sal Colangelo, as I mentioned a moment ago, has just been undeniable late in the year. The 1-0, hot shot back up the middle. Boris gloves it. Throw on to first will end the inning. A clean slate in the third for Griffin Siebel, who leaves one stranded. Senators bats looking to get something going on the other side. They trail 7-0. Big Train trying to become league champions for the 11th time in franchise history. They lead it 7-0 in the home half of the third. Coming at you from Shirley Povich Field to lead off the third inning for your Senators is Nathan Brewer. This one being played tonight in Bethesda, despite being a technical home game for the Senators. Wimpelberg winds and offers just outside. The 1-0 delivery is cranked deep into left center field. Williamson giving chase at the track, at the wall. A little miscommunication between himself and Skoronsky, who is ultimately able to make the grab, one away. Carter Groen, one of just 2 base hits tonight for Southern Maryland. Singled in the first inning. The reason for playing at Shirley Povich tonight is due to the fact that the Blue Crabs have a game this evening as well. Wimpelberg lets it fly, a fastball well downstairs. He winds and releases. That'll bounce before home plate. 2-0. Groen tied for the lead in the league for home runs. It's been all Bethesda so far in the ballgame. The 2-0. Just up. Ball 3. 79 degrees at Shirley Povich Field. Sun continues to go down well below the trees at this juncture. He fires a changeup just a little high. 4-pitch walk for Carter Groen as Cole Constable will go and have a chat with Wimpelberg. Landon Franklin into the ballgame at short for Keenan Bowman, rather. Bowman was hit by a pitch in the helmet in the top half of the inning. Rather than risk anything, Sal Colangelo decides to sub him out of the ballgame. 1 away, home half of the third. Groen aboard first for Ian Kennedy. First offering, a big hack and a miss. Kennedy lined out to Bowman at short. If you'll remember, Bowman tried to intentionally drop the ball in turn 2 with a pair of runners on for the Senators, but the home plate umpire all over it, not allowing him to do so. The 0-1 brushes Kennedy off of the plate. Wimpelberg tucks the glove into his left armpit, comes set at the letters across his chest, and releases. Swings through it, 1-2. Changeup. It just has great late bite from Wimpelberg. Has left 2 stranded so far, reminiscent of the Jacob Whiteman start against the Alexandria Aces back on Sunday. The 1-2 foul back to the screen from Kennedy. He stays alive. Big Train have been all over the Senators from the first pitch tonight. Took a little while to adjust yesterday. Not the case this evening. Wimpelberg a throw over to first. Groen dives back safely. And this Senators team, no matter the results, you've got to be super proud of that they've even made it this far. He deals. A wave and a miss, strike 3. Wimpelberg sets down Kennedy on strikes. In is the DH, Nate McHugh. Takes a look down for the sign from third base coach Alec Riley. One of the changes that the Senators have made over, I don't know, about the last 10 games in the season. McHugh rests the right foot along the back of the white chalk that has become faded over the night. A quick check on first, growing back. Airplane flying overhead at Shirley Povich. He deals. Chin level to McHugh, an easy take for ball 1. Sky, just a beautiful array of colors. Some orange, a little bit of pink out in the distance from the sky. The 1-0 deal. A curveball that won't come back over the plate. That runs in and hits McHugh. First and second for the Senators. Mikey Guy, another player that was hit by a pitch last time he was up. And Sal Colangelo, check that. Pitching coach Craig Lopez will make the slow walk to have a chat with Wimpelberg. Senators trail 7-0 in the bottom of the third inning. So glad you can join us from Shirley Povich Field. You got to think that if the Senators can't get something going in these next 2 innings, that it might start to become a little too late. Especially with this Bethesda lineup. They're not going to let their foot off the gas at all. Can put runs up in a hurry, as you saw back in the first inning. And so you got to wonder a little bit about the Southern Maryland pitching situation as well. We're prepared to throw 2 guys in particular tonight, Griffin Siebel and Luke Trout. First pitch to Guy is bounced back to the screen. If needed past that, really don't quite know who Scott Middleton's going to put out on the mound. Wimpelberg sets at the lettering across his chest and releases. A little down and away. Guy grips high up on the bat in his hands before settling down at the knob. Wimpelberg kicks and deals. A fastball just downstairs. 2-1. Mikey Guy has hit a remarkable 400 in the playoffs. 2 balls and a strike. Kicks and delivers. Punched out to center field. Williamson with a lot of time. Lifts up the leather. Hauls it in to retire the side. 2 stranded in the last 3 innings for the Senators. Big Train lead it 7-0 over the Senators. Back in a moment from Shirley Povich Field. Big Train trying to keep rolling from Shirley Povich Field. Andrew Williamson to lead off the away half of Fort. As I've mentioned, technically considered an away game tonight for the Big Train. First pitch swinging, driven out to center, Tribble with time, flashes the leather, makes the grab, 1 down. Just one pitch to get the first out for Griffin Siebel, who came on way back in the first. Has been the guy since he winds and fires down in the dirt. Missing in the other batter's box as well. Vaughn rests his right foot against the faded chalk of the right-handed batter's box. The 1-0 is fouled straight back. Lights bright over Shirley Povich Field. Siebel deals. Hot shot back up the middle. The pitcher gloves it, flips to first. In time to retire the batter. 2 away. Siebel doing it all this inning. That brings up Emilio Gonzalez, who is 0 for 1 tonight. Had a 3 RBI double in last night's game, which ultimately helped lead the Big Train to victory. He deals well inside for ball 1. Releases, high chopper back up the middle. Boris charges, fields it on the forehand side. Throw to Kennedy. That'll end the inning. Efficient work from Siebel in the 4th. Senators trail 7-0. You're listening to Southern Maryland Baseball. Keep it here. Seven nothing Big Train so far tonight. Home half of the 4th and due up is Silas Boris. New pitcher into the ball game for the Big Train is Max Martzoff, the 6', 240 senior out of Florida Atlantic. Left-hander into the ball game. First pitch, driven to left field. Skoronski with all the time in the world underneath it, hoists up the glove and makes the grab. One gone. Braden Purser-Eber went down swinging his first time up. Was unbelievable. And the only playoff game he's seen action in so far. Doubled and had an RBI single against the Aces back on Monday. First pitch he sees is in at the knees for strike one. Martzoff fires a wave and a miss. No balls, 2 strikes to Purser-Eber. He deals. Just a little high. Constable thought it was strike number 3. One out, bottom of the 4th. Big Train lead at 7-0. The 1-2. Swung on. He can't come up with it. Purser-Eber goes down swinging. And as he returns to the dugout, up comes Kai Queen, trying to start a 2-out rally in the 4th. Grounded out to the first baseman, Gonzalez, in his first try. First pitch, a called strike at the belts to Queen. The 0-1 is fouled back to the screen. Boy, is Martzoff filling up the zone. Not afraid of the Senators making contact. Sets at the belts. Releases. High chopper to short. Charging it is Franklin. Picks it off of 2 hops. Throw across the diamond will be well in time to end the inning. 1-2-3 on both sides in the 4th. 7-0 Big Train. You're listening to Senators Baseball. Davin Whitaker up to lead off the away half of 5 from Shirley Povich Field. Senators trail 7-0. First offering is driven to right. That'll get down in front of Groen for a leadoff base knock. Whitaker rounds first, and that's where he'll stay as Queen cuts off the throw from the right fielder. Wesley trying to keep things rolling in the fifth after a leadoff hit. Had a double which drove in a run, was ultimately thrown out trying to take third off of a beautiful throw from Carter Groen. First offering well in the dirt. Easy take for Wesley. Staying hot again this evening after going 3 of 5 last night and driving home 2 runs. The 1-0 deal. Brushes him off the plate. Siebel has given up just 1 run across 3 2/3. Has been well needed for Scott Middleton after the starter Whiteman was able to retire only 1 batter. He lets it fly. Slow roller back up the middle. Boris flips to second. They'll get 1. In safely at first is Wesley. Heads up play by Boris to make the flip to Queen. Well, Keenan Bowman at the plate. One away in the bottom half, rather top half of the fifth. First offering misses low, bouncing before the plate. Wesley at first with Bowman at the dish. 2 RBIs in the playoffs from the shortstop Bowman. A 1-0. Just a little in. Siebel having tough time commanding his stuff in the fifth rather. Sets of the belts. The 2-0 offering. Smashed into left field. That's going to get down. Brewer gives chase near the left field line. Throw into third. Won't be in time as Wesley slides in safely. A 1-out double for Keenan Bowman as he celebrates with his guys. Two guys on for Josh Skowronski, who tries to extend the lead for Bethesda. 7-0 Big Train under the bright lights of Shirley Povich Field. Can still see some red that paints the clouds out over right field from the set sun. Not too much cloud cover over Shirley Povich. Infield on the edge of the grass. Siebel fires a fastball that bounces before home plate. Last time Skowronski was up, he flew out to Mikey Guy in foul territory. The infield shifted a little bit to their left with the left-handed hitting Skowronski. Right, of course, from the perspective of home plate. A big hole between Boris and Guy at short and third. The 1-1 deal is hit hard to right field. In for a base knock. Rounding third and heading home. He's called out. Keenan Bowman not able to slide in safely as Braden Purser-Eber lays on the tag for out number 2. Despite Bowman being thrown out, Wesley able to easily score And so the lead is 8 for the Big Train. Trying to put the cherry on top of what could potentially be their 11th league championship. First offering is in at the belly button of Constable. Siebold peers in at the catcher, who gives signs. He approves. Siebold deals from the belts. A little high. Perceber up out of his stance. A ball and a strike. So glad you can be with us from Shirley Povich Field. 8-0 Bethesda. They lead it over your Senators. He kicks and delivers. A delayed steal attempt from Skowronski. Throw down to second is not in time. Creative base running from the left fielder. And that's exactly why you put a kid like Skowronski on in this ball game. Sal Colangelo had not played him the entirety of the playoffs except just one AB. And now tonight has been a big part of this Big Train ball club. The 2-1 is popped straight up. Perceber will give it a close look. Unplayable and foul ground. Count even to the catcher, Constable. Also making his first playoff start. In the postseason, Bethesda is still yet to lose, and doesn't look like that's going to change tonight. This a formula that Sal Colangelo has come up with over the last few years. The 2-2 bounces before the plate, count full. Last season, the Big Train came on strong late in the year to win the league in the postseason. Similar story this year. Did not win the North Division. Came in third place in the league. But has dominated in the playoffs. The payoff pitch. A curveball that won't dip back down. Cole Constable able to work a walk and turn the lineup back over to Justin Nadeau. Nadeau doubled to lead off the ball game. And just an astounding stat. Bethesda have won 13 of their last 15 games. Quite unbelievable. First pitch is punched the opposite way from Nadeau. That going to get down. One run will score in the form of Skowronski. Constable rounding third. They're going to send him home. Throw cut off by Mikey Guy. Two more score for the Big Train. They're all hyped up. 10-0 Bethesda. And it is worth mentioning, with the Big Train just 2 runs away at this point, 12-run lead in the Cal Ripken League is a mercy rule after 7 innings. Of course, still a long ways away from that, but would like to keep that on your radar. Justin Nadeau gets a big high five and a chest bump from his teammates, and Griffin Siebold will be out of the ball game. Largely did what was needed from him for the most part. Stopped the bleeding. Gives up 3 in the 5th inning. 2 outs in the 5th. Senators trail 10-0. You're listening to Southern Maryland Baseball. Back in a moment with more info on the new pitcher. The big train rolling in Shirley Povich. Live from Bethesda. So glad you can join us. It has been all big train this evening. They lead at 10-0 over the Senators as they try to win their 11th league title. Trout sets the belt and offers. Hard hit back up the middle. Boris makes the sliding stop, returns to his feet, throw to first, not quite in time, with Williamson burning it down the line. Due up next is Luke Vaughn. Griffin Siebel out of the game. He's still responsible for NATO aboard third base. Through 4 1/3 innings. Trout deals a curveball that dips in at the knees for strike one. The 0-1 offering, a called strike that dots the outer half. Luke Trout, a last pitch against the Crop Dusters in the wild card game. The 0-2 in the dirt, runs away from Purser Ebert, and advancing to second is Williamson. Keeps it close enough to hold NATO at third. A ball and 2 strikes, second and third for the big train. Trout's appearance before that, he threw 4 2/3 in release of Davis Rivers in the doubleheader against the Crop Dusters. The 1-2 is downstairs. Count even. Purser Ebert retrieves a new ball from our umpire as Trout plays with it in his hands before towing the rubber along the first base side. Lights shine on at Shirley Povich Field. Big Train lead it by 10. He deals smack the opposite way, well, foul. Bethesda has looked unstoppable this evening, as has been the case the entire postseason. Trout approves of the sign from the catcher. He releases. Line drive to left. That's down in front of Brewer. One run's going to score. Another coming home to score with Brewer misplaying it. Wait, apologies. Brewer was able to come up with the grab. Apologies, folks. 10-0. We head to the 6th inning. Brewer able to make the grab to leave 2 stranded. Back in a moment from Shirley Povich. Senators trail by 10. Rowan putts into the ballgame for your Senators to lead things off in the 5th. Into this one for Logan Tribble, who was the leadoff man, ultimately 0 for 2 in the ballgame. First offering down and in for Martzoff, who was wonderful last inning. Retired the Senators in order. He lets it fly. That'll brush him off the plate. 2-0. The 2-0 is skied foul down the right field line. Unplayable for Whitaker. Scott Middleton likely realizing that these may be the last at-bats of the season, giving every guy an opportunity. They trail by 10 in the 5th. Martzoff sets at the belt and delivers. A big cut and a miss. Count even. A great start out of Joey Wimpelberg. Went 3 innings. Gave up 2 hits. Left 6 stranded. The 2-2 called strike 3. That dots the top of the zone from Max Martzoff. And the Big Train are absolutely cruising in this ball game. Next to the plate is Nathan Brewer. He walked back in the 1st. Flew out to left in the 3rd. First offering is a called strike that twists into the outer half of the zone. Beautiful location from Martzoff. Lets it fly. A changeup that drops low. A ball and a strike. Brewer wiggles the bat up above the left shoulder. The 1-1 is hammered deep to center field. Going back is Williamson. At the track, he's got space. Hauls it in for out number 2. It's not like Martzoff has struck out everyone, but has been super efficient and hasn't had to throw a whole ton of pitches. Successfully set down the first 5 batters he's faced. And up is Carter Groen. He deals a center cut fastball. Strike 1. Martzoff from the belt. A little low. A ball and a strike. Live from Shirley Povich Field. The 1-1 just misses the inner half of the plate. Big Train looking to make it back-to-back league championships. Did so a year ago. The 2-1 is foul back to the screen. Were unsuccessful in doing so back in 2022 with the Aces playing spoiler in the postseason. But ever since then, this is a Big Train club that has played with some a vengeance, and certainly doing so tonight. The 2-2 is popped foul. Will do it again. Martzoff toes the rubber smack dab in the center. He releases a wave and a miss. He struck him out. To the 6th we go. Big Train, 10-0. Back in a moment from Shirley Povich. We can officially close the book on the day for Griffin Siebel. He gave up 4 runs across 4 1/3 innings pitch on 5 hits. Luke Trout came in last inning and was able to lock things down. First offering is chin level to Emilio Gonzalez. He leads off the away half of 6. The 1-0 is a little high. Trout from the wind, he releases. Pitch that misses in the same spot. Trout struggling to find the zone to begin the inning. 10-0 Big Train. The 3-0 in the other batter's box for ball 4. Well, a good start to the inning for the Big Train. They look to keep things rolling offensively. This entire game, they've really been able to produce nearly every inning. In the 3rd and the 4th, didn't score. Pitch will kick off the glove of Brayton Purser-Eber, and advancing to second is Gonzalez. Whitaker with a man in scoring position, 2 for 3 on the night. He comes out and has a chat with Luke Trout. Both guys just finished up their time in high school this spring. And these are the stories that you kind of love to see. Players that have really become accustomed to this college level throughout the year. Really getting a feel for what it's like to play against this next level talent. And you really get that against the Big Train, who might have one of the toughest lineups in the entire league. The 1-0 dots the outer half of the zone. 1-1. Whitaker was 1 for 5 last night, really turning it on this evening. Lets it fly, smashed into the right center field gap. Groen gives chase. Rounding third and heading home is Gonzalez. Throw into second, will get past Silas Boris. Trout backs it up. But a no-out double from Whitaker plates one. And the Big Train are just 1 run away from run rule territory. They lead it 11-0 in the 6th inning. Really just no resistance to be offered so far from the Senators. He deals down in the dirt. Kicks off of Purser-Eber. Throw down to third. In safely is Whitaker. And this Bethesda team still playing with so much hustle despite the lead. And despite whatever the result may be tonight, you really got to commend this Senators ball club and how they've played throughout the postseason. Even to just make it to this league championship series was a feat in and of itself, let alone play the way they did through 6 innings of last night's ball game. The 1-0 just a little high. And that's the dilemma against this Bethesda squad, right? You got to play a near perfect 9 innings to be able to get past them victorious. Line drive to center. Tribble giving chase. He puts up the glove, unable to make the grab. Rounding first and heading towards second is Wesley. He is tagged out, but scoring will be Davin Whitaker. 12-0 Bethesda. They continue to pull away with this ball game. And if the score stays right where it is for the next 2 innings, we will be going home early. A pitch that's over the head of Keenan Bowman, who happened to be hitting the head earlier in the game. Certainly not what you want to see. Away half of the 6th inning. And looking back at things, you really got to see how much this inversion of innings has benefited the Big Train. And also with really no consequence to it, and the fact that they get to play right at home at Shirley Povich. The 1-0 offering is punched the opposite way. Groen with time puts up the brown glove and makes the grab. 2 gone. Trout just trying to get out of things and bring an end to the 6th inning and turn it back over to his bats, who are still yet to crack the scoring column. This has been a game that has been dominated by the Big Train from the jump. The first pitch, a heater just low. Skoronski making his first playoff start of the year this evening. Bouncer to first. C.J. Willis, who came in as a defensive substitution for Ian Kennedy, makes the play, runs over to first base bag, and that'll end the inning. 12-0 Big Train. You're listening to Senators Baseball. Keep it right here as Bethesda tries to lock things down and make it 11 league championships in the team's franchise history. The left-handed hitting C.J. Willis to the dish to lead off the home half of the 6th. First pitch, it's a high chopper to third. Wesley charging on. Throw will be low of the first baseman, Gonzalez. Heading to second is Willis. He dives in head first. And perhaps that's exactly what the Senators needed to get something going in the 6th inning. Nate McHugh, with his 3rd try, was hit by a pitch back in the 3rd. Max Martzoff came on way back in the fourth, has been dealing on the bump. Sets at the belt and delivers. Lifted into the right center field gap. And diving after it is the right fielder, Whitaker. He can't quite make the grab. McHugh pulls into second as Willis touches home. And the first run of the ball game for your Senators comes in the sixth. Finally, the Senators able to crack the scoring column off of a Nate McHugh double. And they'll try to keep things rolling with Mikey Guy. Coming into tonight was batting .400 on the playoffs. The left-hander fires a fastball that clips the inner half. A lively one at that from Martzoff. He kicks and offers. This time misses, trying to find that same spot. Will brush Guy off the plate. 77 degrees with the sun well set at Shirley Povich Field. The 1-1 deal. Hit hard on the ground left side. That'll get through the hole. Rounding third and staying there is Nate McHugh. Runners at the corners for your Senators, who are all of a sudden looking good at Shirley Povich Field. PJ Hughes into the ballgame for Silas Boris. The shortstop was 1 for 2 on the night. And as I had mentioned last inning, Scott Middleton just trying to give everyone a chance to hit in this rare championship opportunity. The first pitch is down and in for ball 1. Martzoff looks over at first and offers. That'll run well inside, and Cole Constable will come out and have a chat. The 2 innings he had thrown prior looked wonderful for the big train, but all of a sudden the Senators starting to see him well. The errant throw from Wesley, and then back-to-back hits from the Senators. A big double from McHugh, which drove in a run. Then the single from Guy has runners at the corners, no outs, home half of the 6th. Senators just a couple weeks ago, and for nearly a month of the season, were in last place of the South Division. The 2-0 is swung through and missed. Sat in last place of the South Division, came on strong late in the year, ended up being second place, which put them in the 4 spot in the playoffs. He offers down and in. It allowed the Senators to win the play-in game against the Crop Dusters in dominant fashion, 14-4. The 3-1 dots the outer half. Went on to win the first game against the Aces 4-3. Ty Harris was able to make a miraculous save, and then the Senators dominated in the second game. The payoff pitch waved at and unable to come up with it is Hughes. He goes down swinging on strikes. The catcher, Braden Purser-Eber, trying to erase an 0-for-2 night, has gone down swinging both times. First and third for the catcher. Last night, the Senators were up early in the ballgame through 6 innings. It was 2-0. 1 in the bottom half of 6, and then 5 in the 7th for the Big Train. One to Purser Ebert. Martzoff sets and fires. A liner to left center. Diving after it is Williamson. He can't make the catch. McHugh in to score. Rounding third and heading home is Guy. There will be no throw. Southern Maryland all of a sudden starting to mount some offense. Still a long ways away. They trail by 9, but a 2 RBI double from Braden Purser Ebert, perhaps putting some life into the Senators' dugout. Kai Queen, 6 RBIs on the year, 1 in the playoffs. Gets to see the left-hander Martzoff. First pitch foul back to the screen. So glad you can join us from Shirley Povich Field. Cody Wagner with you all night. Sets of the belt and lets it fly. A big cut and a miss. 0-2. Despite what may take place the rest of the night, the 0-2 is outside. You gotta feel satisfied with how the Senators fought throughout this season. Found themselves in a playoff spot after things looked bleak midway through the year. And in the playoffs have been marvelous. Caught heat. But the Big Train, just with too massive a flame to overcome. Queen fights off the 1-2. Keeps the count right where it is. Readjusts the helmet on his head before he rests the bat along his right shoulder. Martzoff sets and offers. Up and away. Count even to Queen. Purser Ebert aboard second. Martzoff receiving some encouragement from the fielders in the form of Bowman. The 2-2 fouled off. Still seems to be some fight left in the Senators lineup. They continue to have quality at-bats in the 6th inning. They trail 12-3. Lets it fly. Called strike 3. A fastball that finds the outer half of the zone. Queen goes down looking. And Rowan Putz will get his second try at the plate. Went down on strikes looking last inning. Will look to improve things in the 6th. Purser Ebert aboard second. First offering is down in the dirt. The slider from the 3/4 slot of Martzoff. Southern Maryland trails by 9. 12-3. 2 away in the home half of the 6th. The 1-0 well high. Easy take for Putz. And of course, I've said this throughout the series, but have got to really emphasize how hot the Big Train have gotten. The 2-0 is foul back to the screen. And they've just seemed to have figured out the winning formula in this Cal Ripken League with Sal Colangelo, who has been with the ball club since nearly the inception way back in 2005. Martzoff offers a tad in. The left-hander lifts up the glove above his face so as to use it as a mask. The 3-1 is popped foul the opposite way. And despite Martzoff having a little trouble in this inning, he has continued to fill up the zone. No walks to this point for the left-hander. The payoff pitch hit in the same direction, out of play. Cody Wagner, glad to be with you from Shirley Povich Field. He delivers a little high. Putz takes his base. And just as I say it, the old announcer jinx, as Martzoff walks his first batter in the appearance. And out of the third base dugout comes the pitching coach, Craig Lopez. We're going to quickly step aside and be right back with you. Senators trail by 9, 12-3, Big Train. You're listening to Southern Maryland Baseball. Keep it here. Nathan Brewer back to the plate. 0 for 2 tonight. Max Martzoff remains in the game, and the first pitch twists into the down and away corner. A beautiful slider from the left-hander. Lefty on lefty matchup. He lets it fly. Tapper foul. Carter Groen fields it in the on-deck circle. No balls and 2 strikes. This Big Train faithful has gotten into this one all night. Lets it fly. Pop the opposite way. Senators have put some well-needed runs on the board in the 6th inning. Still not going down without a fight, which has got to be an encouraging sign for Scott Middleton, and really just visualizes what this team has done all year. The 0-2 is a tad out. This is a team that has really never given up hope throughout the entire year despite hardships. A bouncer to Nato at second. Flip on to Bowman, who's at the bag to retire the side. Senators able to put up 3 in the 6th. They still trail it by 9 runs. 12-3 Big Train, back in a moment. Hello and welcome back to Shirley Povich for the away half of 7. And with that, I welcome in my partner up in the booth, has been sitting alongside me the entire game. Thought, why not put a mic on him? Senators trail 12-3. First offering is just a bit outside to Cole Constable. Alex, your thoughts on how the game's played out so far?
It's definitely been hard to watch as a Senators announcer. It's been, considering how well they've played in this playoffs, you just expect the offense and them to just go out there and score a lot of runs, but it's definitely been a hard watch tonight.
The 2-0 offering is flown out the other way. That's going to get down and stay in fair territory. Constable with a big round of first, and that's where he'll stay. And this big train offense has just been cruising, Alex.
It really has been. I mean, no home runs, but just I think 2 triples, 6 doubles. They've just been around the base paths.
Justin Nato up is 2 for 3 in the ball game. Had a 2 RBI double back in the fifth. Apologies. A couple defensive changes for Scott Middleton. First offering dots the outer half of the plate. Partner, despite the struggles tonight, you do have to look at the silver lining a little bit and see how well the Senators have played in the postseason to this point and just battling throughout the season as Nato rolls one foul.
I mean, you just really can't be mad. They've been great in these playoffs, especially how they play in the regular season. This is truly not the run you expected from the Senators. But as we said last time I was on, they just gelled the offense and the defense, pitching and hitting, and they've just been amazing.
It has kind of seemed to have shocked the entire league. The 0-2 deal in the other batter's box for ball one. A Southern Maryland team that had a tough time winning 2 in a row. The 1-2 is just out. Count even.
Won multiple games in a row, just once this season, not including the postseason.
And then had the 4-game winning streak going into last night. He offers way up high and will kick off the glove of Purser Eber to the backstop. Advancing is Constable the second.
Going into the 6th inning, it looked like they were going to extend that, too. Up 2-0 and entering the 6th inning for the Senators last night.
Southern Maryland yesterday looked so good early, right, Alex? But it just ultimately seemed to peter out a little bit, and it seems to have rolled over into tonight. The payoff pitch, called strike 3. The heater finds the zone for Luke Trout. Sets down Nato looking.
It's really just hard as a team to keep your morale up after giving up 5 runs in the first inning.
Exactly, and a similar story yesterday where they gave up 5 in the 7th, and really tough to have a whole day to dwell on that. Think about, man, we were just a couple innings away, a wave and a miss at the first pitch from Andrew Williamson. But to have to meditate on that for a day and then try to come out tonight and play your best ball, it's just been tough this evening for Southern Maryland. Have had to fight uphill the whole ball game. The 0-1 is popped in the opposite direction, left side of the infield. Hughes ranges over and makes the grab. 2 gone. A leadoff base hit, but not much sense for the big train. In steps Luke Vaughn, who has been pretty quiet tonight. Surprising from him, who has been on in the playoffs so far. First offering from Trout. Misses in the other batter's box. Ball 1. Trout sets at the belts and releases. that one just away.
As you mentioned earlier, this truly does not feel like a home game for the Senators, even though it technically is. It really does not. It's not nice that they couldn't play at Regency Furniture Stadium because the Blue Crabs had to play at a big home stretch.
Certainly unfortunate, right, Alex, that they have to play what's technically a home game on the road at Shirley Povich Field, and a big crowd behind this Big Train squad, and was especially needed early in the ball game. Still not going away late in this one. 12-3 Bethesda. The 3-0 twist into the zone for Luke Trout. Strike one. Despite the results in the series, you got to think that this will be helpful for recruiting for the Senators. The 3-1 dots the inner half of the zone. Full count. 2 away. Away half of 7.
Definitely will be, because even though they most likely will not win this game, being the runner-up still does mean you did the second best.
And Scott Middleton has seemed to have just handled all these personalities perfectly late in the year. The payoff pitch is rocketed deep into right field. Groen with some space, backs up near the track and hauls it in to retire the side. Senators trail by 9 going in to the 7th inning stretch. Back in a moment from Shirley Povich. You're listening to Senators Baseball. Carter Groen in to lead off the home half of 7. Had a single way back in the first inning. And the Senators perhaps trying to carry over some momentum from last inning, partner.
Definitely. Scoring 3 runs last inning definitely helped.
Martzoff remains on the hill. First pitch misses well in. Southern Maryland seems to always fight, even when in super tough situations. The pitch is lifted sky high towards the Senators' dugout, and Cole Constable unable to make the grab. Kicks off of his glove. Always super tough to make the play as the catcher. You got to throw off the mask, use a glove that isn't necessarily designed for catching pop flies.
Almost looked like the ball was spinning also, which definitely didn't help.
Yeah, Constable thought that it was going to be much closer to the Senators' dugout than it was. He had to return back towards fair ground. The 1-1. A big cut and a miss.
See if Carter will take advantage of this second chance.
And it's really an anomaly is growing. Swings with so much power, but yet hits for average as well. He fires a curveball that twists in. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Just has a very simple approach of trying to drive the ball every at bat.
He deals. Fought off by Groen back to the screen. It has been an absolute pleasure to bring action your way the entirety of the season. The 2-2 is down and in. This perhaps may be the last 2 innings that I get to call alongside you, partner. The payoff pitch. Fouled into the parking lot.
No chance coming back next year?
A little bit. Certainly a chance for sure. I've enjoyed my time here. No doubt about that. And the payoff pitch is inside. Shout out to my host family. The GM, John Erickson, was kind enough to host me in his house. It's been great staying with him and his family the entirety of the season. And he certainly would be a big part as to why I'd returned to Southern Maryland. Has been a great time being able to bring this action to your homes. First pitch clips the outer half of the zone to C.J. Willis. The 1-0, waved at and missed.
Big swing there for C.J. Willis.
And it's been great getting to know all you guys, Alex, the rest of the interns.
Definitely
really
love our
come
group.
close late in the season. The 0-2 is down and white.
Got our own fantasy group for fantasy football.
Who do you think's going to win that, by the way?
Honestly, I think I have a chance. I truly do.
Okay. We'll see. Releases. Cut on a miss. See, struck him out. C.J. Willis set down swinging on 4 pitches. That'll give way to Nate McHugh, who drove in the first run of the ball game last inning with a double. McHugh has really come on late in the season. Had that big home run against the Grays. Hits one hard on the ground near the third base side. That'll get through past the third baseman and into left field. McHugh pulls into second with a 1-out double.
Hasn't he been great?
That homer against the Grays was his first of the season. Then he hit one in the series against the Aces as well.
That's very surprising to me because he definitely has the power.
No doubt, a power hitter for sure is Nate McHugh. And a moment ago, not necessarily needing raw power, but placing that ball perfectly right down the line. First offering misses into Mikey Guy. Perhaps the big train stretching Martz off a little long. Has already thrown 3 1/3. The 1-0 deal is popped up back behind second base. The shortstop Bowman underneath. He hauls it in for out number 2. Groen will have to stay at third. And now 2 gone for P.J. Hughes.
We definitely assume this is most likely his last inning.
Yeah, the Martzoff pitch count for sure getting up there at the moment.
He's doing his job, though. He's been great tonight.
He sets at the belt and releases. A center cut fastball for strike one. Hughes up in a big spot, an opportunity to drive home a pair of runs. The 0-1 deal. A fastball that brushes him off the plate. Do you think you're coming back next year? That's a big question.
I think I will, definitely. I mean, I'll be going to college next year, but I really did enjoy this internship.
The 1-1 delivery. Cut on and missed. This is, in fact, your second season, if I'm not mistaken.
It's my first.
First?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I got that information from.
We had no returners this year.
In fact, true. He deals. Popped up right side. The second baseman, Nato, with all the time in the world, hauls it in to end the inning. Senators trail by 9. To the away half of 8 we go. Big Train just 6 outs away from another championship in the Cal Ripken League. Back in a moment. Emilio Gonzalez up to lead off the away half of 8, which is certainly odd for me to say here at Shirley Povich Field, but the case with the Blue Crabs playing tonight at Regency Furniture. First pitch misses inside. New pitcher for the Senators is Austin Ferreira, just trying to eat up some innings out of the bullpen for Scott Middleton. Sets and deals, a wave and a miss. Emilio Gonzalez has walked twice tonight. 0 for 2 so far. Had a big 3 RBI double, which blew things open in last night's victory. The delivery, a high chopper to second. Queen plays it off of 3 hops. Throw on to first in time, 1 gone.
As you mentioned, the Big Train are definitely still hustling, even with this game pretty close to over.
No doubt. It seems like there's still a lot on the line for them. Of course, there is still the championship, but they're up 9 runs. You would think maybe they are starting to let off the gas a little bit.
No.
Nothing of that nature, Alex. Davin Whitaker has been a big part of tonight's ball game for the Big Train. Fouls the first pitch back to the screen. Doubled and drove in a run in the sixth. Had a 2 RBI 3-bagger in the first. He offers. Punched foul.
That's another thing. This Big Train lineup is complete 1 through 9. Like, anyone could have a big hit at any time.
And that's exactly why it's so tough to beat them. You got to be on nearly the entire game. The 0-2 deal. A curveball that has nasty movement on it, dipping a little low.
In this hot streak, when they won the 13 out of their last 15, I don't think I remember seeing a close score for them. Like, every win has been dominating.
Ferreira releases. Whitaker tried to check his swing. They'll say went around. 2 away in the 8th. You're exactly right, though, Alex. I mean, this is a team that has just dominated across these last 15 ball games. And when you start to think of it, it's crazy to realize that that's nearly half the season. Ferreira deals.
I believe they did a similar thing last year where they came in hot towards the end of the season.
First pitch fouled straight back. Spot on with that, Alex. This was a team that last year didn't lead the South Division. Rather, they led the South Division, were second in the league, behind the Alexandria Aces, who seemed primed to win the league championship series with a 30-6 record, if you can believe it.
Wow.
A ball and a strike to Wesley, the pitch in the dirt. And they were ultimately able to win. That just shows you what Sal Colangelo has done with this team. He really emphasizes late season winning and really just allows the guys to gel and blend together in the first month. The 2-1 punch back to the screen.
I mean, chemistry is so important in baseball. You're seeing it here firsthand.
Count even to Wesley. And the Big Train seemed like perhaps, don't want to say the only team, but maybe the only team that has really gelled and blended together. It's such a tough ask, right, Alex? To
Definitely.
just over 2 months get these guys good playing with each other and be comfortable with one another. Ferreira with the payoff pitch. The good old Uncle Charlie sets him down looking. Nasty stuff from Austin. Ferreira ends the 8th. To the bottom half of the inning we go. 12-3, Big Train. Senators trying to crack the scoring column yet again. Braden Purser-Eber in to lead off the bottom half of 8. Had a 2 RBI double back in the 6th. Senators have scored just a total of 3 runs in the ballgame. New pitcher in is Brandon Cassidy. First offering is fouled back to the screen.
Hasn't Purser-Eber been amazing for the Senators in this playoff run?
The 2 RBI double today, and then back against the Aces on Monday, had a double and an RBI single. The 0-1 is down in the dirt. A heater from Cassidy. And how about Max Martzoff?
Well, he
surrendered
was good.
just 4 hits, 3 runs across 4 innings, partner.
And those 3 runs, I don't think that the manager, he cares, because considering this lead, you just want some innings from a guy, and he definitely did that for his team, the Big Train.
Exactly. You just want to get length out of the pen after Wimpelberg was only able to throw 3 innings in the start. And you got exactly that from Martzoff. 1-2 to Purser-Eber. Cassidy lets it fly. Fights it off and stays alive. Cassidy, the 5'11" right-hander, plays collegiate ball for George Mason University. Toes the rubber along the first base side before he winds and fires. Hits it foul once again. And how about this, Alex? Still some fight left in this Southern Maryland squad.
You do love to see that their confidence hasn't wavered, even though they are down 9 runs.
Cassidy takes a moment, now kicks and releases. Pop the opposite way, out of play.
Purser-Eber really fighting this at bat.
A high-quality AB from the catcher. Not letting Cassidy get off easy. You would think in all likelihood he'll be the man to close things out for the Big Train.
Most likely, I'd say so.
The 1-2. Spikes down into the dirt. The curveball. Count even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kai Queen in the on-deck circle. Cassidy from the wind. He fires. Fights it off once again. How about this?
He really is battling here.
Gonna chalk up the bat after that jam shot a moment ago. And it's crazy how fast this game has been able to go despite the high scoring. The 2-2 cut on a miss for strike 3.
The first 2 innings were almost an hour by themselves.
And you got to think that some of this is thanks to the new pitch clock. Doesn't have all sorts of changes to the game, as most pitchers are well under 20 seconds regardless. But it does take away the incessant throws over to first base.
Definitely does save some time off.
1 away in the bottom of 8. First pitch to Queen as well, low. Cassidy has some real lively stuff out on the hill. Even that curveball gets on you pretty quick. The 1-0. Foul back into the parking lot from Queen. A ball and a strike.
think it was a perfect time to throw that curveball against Purser Ebert because he was really fighting, but that off speed just got him.
Lights are bright from Shirley Povich. 1-1 deal. And at the knees. The change this time from Cassidy. Temperature a beautiful 75 degrees. Couldn't ask for anything better. He releases. Bounce back to the catcher. Queen stays alive. Really solid plate appearances from the Senators late in the ball game.
Wish you could have seen this earlier in the game because this definitely does help team spirit, seeing your team be able to foul off so many pitches from the pitcher. Definitely gets the pitch count up, and it definitely helps the team.
Exactly, and it even may translate into the pitching some too. The 1-2 is battled off.
It definitely does frustrate pitchers when you foul off too many.
And even perhaps can help out your own pitching in a morale-boosting way when you're a pitcher and you're down 6-0 after the first inning. If you can see your guys go put a couple up on the board, it's got to be encouraging. 1-2 delivery, a curveball just outside. Big Train faithful wanted it. Man, is that nasty stuff from Cassidy.
Wow, that was really close, and that curveball was nasty.
0 for 3 on the night is Queen. The wind, the pitch. Hit hard on the ground, right side. Gonzalez makes the diving stop. The throw from his knees to Cassidy, who's able to run to the bag in time. 2 down. How about the awareness from the pitcher Cassidy to immediately sprint off the hill and head towards first?
Great job by him, and not even that, being able to catch the ball and still navigate his way towards the bag for the out.
Big Train just 4 outs away from their 11th franchise league championship. They have absolutely dominated the Cal Ripken League over the last 2 decades. Foul back to the screen.
Crazy.
Isn't that crazy to think, Alex, that they've won over half of the league championships?
I promise you, I was literally just about to say that.
Well,
Like,
I got it out first.
But that is insane to think that almost every other year they've won.
0-1 to Putz. A curveball that just drops off the table and dots the lower half of the zone.
Has not been his go-to pitch. It's been nasty this inning.
No balls, 2 strikes. Cassidy in the line, lets it fly. Punched foul. These Senators batters haven't had too much trouble seeing Cassidy.
But putting it in play has been an issue.
Exactly. They've been able to fight off some pitches, but haven't quite been able to make any solid, fair play contact. Just that ball on the ground from Queen, the 0-2, once again fought off.
It's almost like they're just trying to foul off the ball. Like they're just trying to extend these at-bats.
Don't have an official pitch count in front of me, but he's got to be well over 15 pitches into this inning, you'd think, right, Alex? I mean, it's been kind of ridiculous work from the Senators lineup.
Definitely. Just wish you could get something out of it.
Cassidy offers.
Another
Once
one.
again battled off. A liner to the screen.
How many foul balls do you think there's been this inning? It's got to be double digits, right?
Close to it,
It's
for
been-
sure. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 away in the bottom of the 8th. Big Train lead it 12-3. Kicks and fires away venomous. He got him.
The curveball again.
How about Brandon Cassidy in the 8th inning? Sets down the Senators in order. 12-3, Big Train. Their bats will get one last opportunity in this ball game on the other side. You're listening to Senators Baseball. Keep it here. Alex Angelitis will likely be the last man to grace the mound for the Senators this season. They trail by 9 in the away half of the 9th inning. A big wave and a miss from Keenan Bowman to begin the AB.
Angelitis really puts his whole body into every pitch. It's crazy to see.
No doubt maximizes the small frame he has. The 0-1 delivery. Misses the outer half. A ball and a strike. Well, folks, if I don't remember to do so, I'm going to do it now. It has been an absolute pleasure to be able to bring you these ball games throughout the year. Alex, it was great to get to bring you along late in the season.
You've taught me so much this year. I really do appreciate it.
A ball and 2 strikes. The pitch. Punch the opposite way. That's down in front of the right fielder. Groen. Throw to first is not quite in time. Boy, didn't think that there'd be any chance for that. But
that was close.
Fielded it well out in right field, and a great throw in. Not quite there. Josh Skoronsky to the plate. First offering has popped a mile into the air. Back is the shortstop Hughes, who hauls it in for out number 1. So many fun memories throughout the year. Alex, you want to get a little sentimental with us and give us maybe your favorite one?
I really loved the trip out to the Crop Dusters field. And it was going to be my first time doing scoreboard, and the game got rained out for the second time. And as a group, all of us interns, we just got to hang out, and that was our first time, and I really did enjoy that.
First pitch from Angelitis will miss a little away. Runner on first, 1 out in the 9th. Senators trail 12-3. The 1-0 deal. A center cut fastball that is bounced foul. For me, I'd say it also comes from that trip, but a little different scenario for me. I remember before the game that we always get the lineup as the interns, and
the Scott picture.
Our manager, Scott Middleton, decided to change up the photo on us a little bit, put on a smile, and put the lineup card right next to his head.
It was very funny. I actually did the same thing today. Fun fact.
In fact. Always having fun and a good guy to be around. 1-2 the count. The pitch misses below the zone. Count even to the 9-hole hitter Constable. Angelitis sets and offers. Constable fights it off. And shout out to our one intern not in attendance this evening, Blake Atkins, who ran the track man for us throughout the year.
We love Blake. Very funny guy.
This whole crew has been delighted to be able to work with the Senators all summer. The 2-2 jacked deep to left field. Back on it is Brewer, who makes the grab at the warning track. 2 gone.
Ball was smashed.
To the top of the order we go. For the 6th time tonight, in steps Justin Nato. And boy, Alex, this is what we're meant to be doing, talking baseball. This Big Train team has just been so good tonight.
Truly.
6th time through the lineup.
Pretty sure they batted around in the first, which is insane.
Spot on with that. Got all the way to the 2 spot. The 0-1 is a little outside. Kicks and offers a fastball that will brush Nato off the plate. Bowman reached with the leadoff single. Stands aboard first with 2 gone in the away half of 9. The pitch is well inside yet again. At this point, it just feels a little bit like playing things out for the sake of it. Seems like we are well on our way to a Bethesda 11th title in the Cal Ripken League. Nato able to work a walk.
They have played great, though.
No doubt.
Here comes debatably their best hitter.
And debatably the best hitter in the entire Cal Ripken League. I mean, this kid, Andrew Williamson, has been absolutely undeniable. Of guys that have potential major leagues in their future, you got to think that he's right at the top of that list. The first pitch pushes him off of the plate.
Not only tied for first in the league in home runs, but also batting around .450 on the regular season.
Angelitis offers, fouled straight back. And what you got to keep in mind, Carter Groen, who's tied with Andrew Williamson for the lead league in home runs, is batted well this year, right around .330, but isn't quite near those top 5 in the league. Andrew Williamson leads the league in batting average as well.
It's just insane, man. Just a pure hitter.
Fouls the 1-2 back to the the 1-1 back to the screen rather. 2 strikes to Williamson. About to cross into the last 2 hours of the evening. The 1-2 is popped up. Guy giving chase and foul ground. Will see it out of play. A dark night at Shirley Povich Field, and man, is it an ideal one for baseball. Temperature sitting right around 75 degrees.
It truly is beautiful, and seeing the trees right outside the fence is amazing.
He offers just in. Seemed like it had some late arm side run to it. That was a nice pitch from Angelitis.
You would think home run balls are pretty hard to retrieve at this stadium.
For sure. Once they get lost amongst those trees, probably not getting them back. The 2-2 offering. High bouncer to Queen at short. Flip on to first. Williamson hustling it down the line just in time to end the inning. Senators bats with one last opportunity this season to try and put some runs on the board. Can they do so in the home half of the 9th? We'll see you on the other side. You're listening to Senators Baseball. Back in a moment from Shirley Povich Field. Nathan Brewer in to lead off the home half of 9. And the Senators ball club just trying to get in a few good swings, it would seem, before the season ultimately comes to a close. First pitch is fouled to the screen. The Big Train on the verge of winning back-to-back league championships. A team that got hot at the right time and a winning formula that has seemed to have been figured out by manager Sal Colangelo. The 0-1 won't quite come back over the plate, a ball and a strike.
Still crazy to think that the Big Train have over 50% of the league championships since it's been founded.
What an insane stat. Punch the opposite way, diving in the hole is Bowman. He can't come up with it. A leadoff single from Nathan Brewer. Good news for the Senators in the 9th. And up comes Mike Sweeney. Good to see him in the ball game. Fun fact, Alex is in fact the host family for Mike. Has gotten to know him over the summer. Super good guy.
Definitely hoping for him to get out of here.
A fun fact about Mr. Sweeney, he is indeed the backup pitcher if needed for the Senators. Has been not needed throughout the season.
He's basically the backup everything. He can play any position.
You're
It's
exactly
crazy.
right. When Scott Middleton needed a catcher earlier in the year after Braden Purser-Eber was dealing with a hand injury, guess who he went to? You guessed it, Mike Sweeney. The 1-0, a big wave and a miss. Came into the game for Carter Groen, who ended 1 for 2 with a pair of walks. The pitch, in at the knees, strike 2. And Sweeney, a guy that you got to be super pleased with, came on strong late in the year in the playoffs, was huge for the Senators, and is a real team leader. Cassidy releases, lifted deep to right center field, giving chase is Williamson. That's going to drop down. Sweeney rounds first and pulls into second with a stand-up double. 2 guys on for the Senators in the 9th.
I'd love to see that.
Got to be pleased with Sweeney. And Willis back up trying to erase an 0-for ball game.
Man, the way the Senators have been playing the last couple of innings, if they could have played like this the entire game, it'd definitely be a lot closer. I'll tell you that much.
Since the 6th inning, the score is 3-2 in favor of the Senators. Insane when you put it in that perspective.
Considering
Really
the
hard
actual
to
score
believe.
is. Yeah. There's a lot of quality at bats for the Senators in these last couple innings.
First pitch in at the knees to Willis. And that kind of highlights what this team is, right? The culture of this team. They really do not give up, don't give in. And that's the fight you've seen throughout this playoffs. I remember back on that first game against the Crop Dusters in the postseason, definitely there were some doubts. Weren't sure if they were going to be able to punch their ticket. I remember hearing Carter Groen say before the game that they were going to get to see Walter for his birthday on Monday, which would have only been possible with a win over the Crop Dusters. They did exactly that with that video to our ball boy Walter back at Regency Furniture.
Got a tub of Gatorade poured on him.
The 0-1 is down in the dirt. A ball and a strike.
Definitely also a win on his birthday and pour a tub on Scott Middleton and him. It was very funny to see.
And you mentioned, of course, his birthday. That was on Monday where the Senators punched their ticket into the championship series. The 1-1 also low. And that Gatorade water bath for Scott Middleton had to have felt good because this is a guy that has fought for his team so much throughout the season, and for them to finally pay it off in a big way.
Tell you
Cut on a
this,
miss, 2-2.
he is not afraid to speak his mind.
And Scott Middleton, a guy that came through this Big Train organization for a little while, had coached the Division 2 and 3 version of the Big Train. 2-2 offering is lifted into shallow left field, giving chase is Skoronsky. He runs out of room, and that'll drop innocently foul. Count even to Willis. Kennedy remains on the hill, trying to shut things down.
Expecting a curveball here. That's been his get-out pitch. Or put-away
Has
pitch.
filled up the zone even when the Senators have continued to foul pitches off, and the high heat is blown past C.J. Willis.
Oh, I was wrong. Ooh, that was a heater.
And you saying what you did shows perhaps the perspective of a hitter. You're seeing from the bench that his go-to pitch in strikeout situations has been the curveball, and then he blows the high heat right past you.
I'll tell you this, if you're expecting a low curveball and you get a high heater, your chances of hitting it are slim to none.
Nate McHugh hit home one of the 3 runs back in the 6th. First pitch to him. Twist in the down and away corner, strike 1. The slider this time from Cassidy.
Another guy that's really come in clutch for the Senators later in this year.
McHugh has also done just a fantastic job behind the plate for your Senators. He swings through strike number 2. And despite the fact that he's hitting right around 300, that has perhaps been the brightest spot of his game, right? Has been his play behind the plate.
100%.
Such a good catcher. Rarely is there a ball that he can't get his body in front of. The 0-2 deal. Fouled into the Senators' dugout. Heads up.
Seems like everyone's all right. Giving his teammates a little bit of a gift here.
This a Southern Maryland team that had seemed to have hit a bit of a snag in the middle of the season. Were last in the division, couldn't win 2 in a row, couldn't seem to buy a second game in a row for a little while, Alex. Ultimately able to win back-to-back games, and then the 4-game winning streak that leads them to this championship series here. Just ultimately unable to come through in this series against the Big Train. Yesterday was really their best opportunity. Led it through 6. Big Train able to mount a comeback off the bat of Emilio Gonzalez, which leads us to tonight, where it's been all Bethesda punched foul off the bat of McHugh. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 away in the bottom half of 9.
As you mentioned, being able to meditate over that loss last night had no benefits for the Senators. I mean, it just sucks knowing that they had the lead going into the 6th, and they blew it, especially in such an important series.
12-3, Big Train lead it. Cassidy lets it fly. A fastball downstairs.
Really hasn't used that curveball as much as he did last inning.
We'll see if he goes to it here. Trying to record the second out of the inning. The 1-2. Another heater, whacked foul.
Straight heaters this inning.
Gotta feel proud of how all these guys played down the stretch, really came together as a team in the postseason. The 1-2, this time a curveball. McHugh able to check his swing successfully.
The fans did not like that call. Getting boos.
Big Train fans coming alive, looking to clinch yet another championship. This Shirley Povich Field has really become sort of a place to be in Bethesda over the last 2 decades. and for good reason. The 2-2. Foul tipped into the catcher's glove. Strike 3. Just 1 out away are the Big Train.
And everyone's on their feet out here in Bethesda.
Big Train trying to win their 11th ever Cal Ripken title. Second in as many years. And they have been such a consistent and tough out every time you face off against them. Brandon Cassidy, the man trying to lock things down. First pitch to Guy is popped foul. It's crazy how you can be as successful as Cassidy has been with how many foul balls the Senators have seen off of him. You would think they'd start putting it in fair territory much more than they have, but he's got 2 on in the 9th.
I lost kind of his foul balls last inning.
Cassidy lets it fly. A fastball that dots the inner half. 1 strike away. Everyone on their feet in Bethesda. They're clapping at Shirley Povich Field. Looking to clinch yet another Cal Ripken League title. Cassidy sets. And the 0-2. Just outside. I'll have to wait 1 more pitch. Some come-ons, in fact, coming from the Big Train crowd.
They were not a fan of that.
You think you'd give him a little leeway after the 12-3 lead in the 9th inning, but
They're
there you
demanding
go.
fans.
Cassidy kicks the 1-2. Fought off by Guy. First and second for the Senators, and this just kind of the attitude of Mikey Guy. He's not going to let you get a moment without fighting for it a little bit. He offers a wave and a miss. Ball game. Big Train are champions in the Cal. They've done it in back-to-back seasons. How about it? Bethesda with near perfection in the playoffs. 5 straight wins since that wild card game against the Braves. Absolutely undeniable. 12-3 this evening over your Senators. Your final thoughts on it, Alex?
Truly, just the Big Train are a great team. And although it does hurt to see the Senators lose, I mean, you just can't say a bad thing about this Big Train team. They played absolutely amazing today.
Exactly. And all hail Sal Colangelo, who has found a way to get this team in prime form year in and year out come playoff time. And you questioned how they would do in the playoffs. Came in the 3 seed. No questions anymore.
Do have to give a big shout out to the Senators, though, as this is only their second year in this league, and they made it to the finals.
Second campaign for the Senators, as it's all love between these 2 ball clubs. Southern Maryland able to get all the way to the championship series with 3 straight playoff victories. First, the wild card win against the Crop Dusters, and then 2 straight over the first-seeded Alexandria Aces, but ultimately can't muster quite enough to take down the Bethesda Big Train, who are champions in the Cal Ripken League. So glad you could join us for this one. With this, we say so long from Shirley Povich Field. Cody Wagner, Alex Urso. We'll be back next season. That's all for the 2024 campaign.
Thanks.
Signing off.
Thanks so much for joining us.